Um, this morning, my name is Melissa Rios. I am going to be one of the moderators, and I will be um, doing the closed captioning. Today, we have an amazing panel of Hispanic leaders in South Florida, and we're going to take a few minutes to allow each of them to introduce themselves.
Awesome. So my name is Miguel Murphy, and I have the honor of serving on the Hispanic Heritage Month Committee here at the Wolfson campus, along with my colleague Melissa. And I too look forward to an engaging session this morning, and also the introduction of our panelists in a few moments. We have Ricardo Castillo, we have Dr. Agrai, we have Joaquin Nieves, and we have our very own Miss Helen Muniz, Muniz Bermudez, part of our Wolfson campus family. So Melissa, I think I'll turn it over to you to ask our panelists to begin the introductions as we get our morning started.
Good morning, everyone. If we can go ahead and get started. Our panelists, we're going to start with Dr. Agraid, and then we will follow with Ricardo, then Helen, and lastly, Joaquin.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Thomas Agraid. I'm the CEO for Lean Enterprise Consulting. It's a management improvement company located here in Fort Lauderdale, with office in Puerto Rico, Spain, and India. I'm glad to be with you guys.
Ricardo?
Good morning, everyone. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ricardo Castillo. I am the IT director for City of North Miami, one of the 6 largest cities in Miami-Dade County. We are a municipal government, obviously, and I'm actually really excited of being part of this panel as a former Miami-Dade college graduate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Helen?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Helen Muniz, and I'm the director for the New Student Center at Miami-Dade College's Wolfson campus. And in my non-Miami-Dade College life, I'm also a licensed clinical social worker and active within the social work community. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Joaquin?
Good morning, everyone. I am Joaquin Nieves. I am a business owner. I have a logistic company in Puerto Rico and Florida, working with e-commerce and air transportation from U.S. to Puerto Rico. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. So thank
you. The first question, Miguel?
Yes. So I'm gonna, and so we have a short time together. The next 30 minutes, we'll go around the room, and Melissa and myself will rotate questions, and we'll give each of you an opportunity to respond. So the first question is, so what made you, and we can go in the order that you introduce yourself, what made you decide to pursue your career path? And how did you break into your specific industry or field? And why did you stay? What gives you the motivation to continue going on? So let's start with if your mic is muted. Yes.
Lady first, Helen.
Oh, I'm happy to do so. So for myself, so my first passion has always been psychology and human behavior, and professionally, I identify as a social worker, and it's really it's a profession that gives me life in terms of the intersection of all the different fields that a social worker encompasses. Um, for me, it was really when I started working in the field in human services and social services that I realized that I wanted to pursue a career that had a more holistic and sort of a wider approach to helping people. And I know that sounds very cliche, um, but I think that when you are a people person and that when your passion is to do and act and focus on solutions, and you are a people person, for me, social work was just the natural fit between my passion for human behavior, for helping folks overcome challenges, and also I was a minor or a double major in gender studies. So social work for me was like a natural marriage between the two. And I've worked in lots of different areas in social work. I've worked with the elderly, I've worked with children, I've worked in school social work. Um, but I quickly realized in my field that one of the one of the most seamless ways for me to make an impact is to be at the forefront of an institution or an organization where opportunity really is the driving mission. Um, so for me, it was very much I stay here because of students, and I stay here because my colleagues and I have a passion for growing our community and helping our community develop and explore, new fronts. So it's a natural fit for a social worker that always wants something like new and different in each day. It's a very dynamic fit for me, which is why I stay. It keeps me on my toes.
Thank you, Helen. And
If I can take on Helen's line of thought, I think that my passion to work with people integrated with organizational system is the reason of our company. Our core services are oriented to improve services, improve operation, and I has been doing that for the last 35 years. Not that I'm that old, I just started very young in my life and I'm consulting. And that passion for the integration of people, the human being with organization, took me to pursue a postdoctorate in MIT on neuroscience. So that's why I'm very close to Helen's thought in terms of realizing that our bigger asset is the human being working in our organizations now.
thank you, Dr. Agright. So Ricardo, can you chime in?
Sure, absolutely. Um, I guess one of the things that made me want to pursue my career path was ever since I had my first job in Miami-Dade College Hialeah campus as a lab attendant, helping people, with computer issues. Once I had that experience of helping someone else and how to use a computer, I decided, you know what, I have a passion for technology. This is something that really excites me and makes me want to get up in the morning and get to my job, knowing that I am helping people, and that I'm able to provide them with tools so that they can do their job more efficiently and easier. That's definitely something that has it's what keeps me going every day. A lot of people sometimes they don't like the jobs or the career that they go into. I really think that it's just icing on the cake when you really like what you do. And I have to agree with both the prior panelists that definitely that it's a huge motivator for people liking what they're doing, and I definitely enjoy the work that I do, and having had the opportunities that I had to reach to where the point to where I am right now as the IT director for one of the 6 largest cities in Miami-Dade County. So
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And last but not least, Joaquin.
Joaquin, you need to turn on your mic.
Got it here. Okay. My thing is more inspirational because after the college, I started working with the Department of Justice in U.S. Department of Justice, and I feel that I am not there doing nothing, just receiving complaints from everyone. So I love business, and I started my career in 1992 with a logistic company that I founded. Um, so for the last 30 years, I just doing what I do best is moving cargo everywhere in Puerto Rico, from the U.S. to Puerto Rico to the U.S. Virgin Island, and 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 I keep that way. Every year I have a new muse and I start a new business in logistics. I always looking for opportunities to educate myself and create more business and create more employees. So that is the reason that I am in this kind of industry, um, because I love it, because I do very well for the island of Puerto Rico.
Thank you so much. And Melissa will go ahead and introduce the next question to you.
The next question kind of plays on the previous one. What role has your education played in your success? And we can start with Dr. Agraid.
Well, you took me sleeping, huh? Uh, I think that the education as a whole, taking the concept holistically, not only academically, but education itself means a lot because that's the platform that we can use in order to develop others, to, like Joaquin said, to develop new businesses. I know that he's every day thinking in new opportunities. And in order to be able to catch new opportunities, you have to educate yourself. And probably you say, well, how do I educate myself to catch new opportunities? By the fact of changing the way of thought, your mindset, in order to be open to all the different inputs of information from the environment. That's the way that you can capitalize on an opportunity that you can transfer to a new business. So education is the baseline for everything, and we have to be active learners. I'm just turning 68 on Friday, and I consider myself in the learning process every time. That's why we got something in our brains called neuroplasticity. By the way that we keep educating ourselves, we keep creating new circuits, new neurons are activated, and we delay Alzheimer and a couple of other conditions.
Joaquin, Ricardo, we can continue with you.
Thank you. Happy early birthday, Dr. Agrain, first off. And then I have to agree with the doctor. Education definitely plays a huge role in, getting that door open for you for new opportunities and so on. And even then, because like right now, I obviously have my associates from Miami-Dade College. I do have my bachelor's degree from Florida State University and my master's from Nova Southeastern. But even at this point, and being in the technology field, I feel like, you are always constantly learning. I'm always looking for new opportunities to learn about different technologies or to learn about more about management or more about leadership. And, just looking at, especially in technology, I mean, you have to constantly be learning. Otherwise, you tend to become obsolete out there. So, thank you.
Helen?
Thanks, Melissa. So I want to echo the other presenters' emphasis on like lifelong learning. I think we're becoming we're becoming an even more global community, that there are more things intersecting and more industries intersecting than ever before. And I think it's super important for students and just folks in general to kind of to really embrace the idea of being a lifelong learner, because learning really doesn't stop like in the classroom or once you get your degree. Even if you're in a field that like your terminal degree is whatever it might be, there's always emerging trends, emerging practices that you really need to keep up to date with, because then, I mean, how my colleague said, you become obsolete. And that's across industries. It's really it's so important to stay connected, not just to like your formal network, like formal professional organizations which provide a huge resource in terms of learning, but also to stay connected to your peers. For me, education has played a huge role in my life, because a lot of my professional network stemmed like from my graduate programs. A lot of my professional relationships stem from there, and opportunities too. You know, it's important to not only know the right people, but to make sure the right people know you. And I think school and educational programs are a great place to do that and to build your network. It's a great practice space for that. Um, and I think you just always have to continue being willing to reinvent yourself and to reinvent like your knowledge base, because the more of a renaissance person you are, the more marketable your skills are. And the more marketable you are as a, whether you're consulting or you're looking to be, you know, a full-time hire at a company, you know, you're more marketable with the more you know and the more that you can apply. And critical thinking is one of those skills that I think schools help to give you like that critical thinking like practice and strategies, but that's a skill that you take no matter what industry you work in.
Thank you. Last, Joaquin.
Yeah, from my point of view, I feel connected with my industry via education. There's no other way you do a good business if you are not well educated. Doesn't matter the industry or the business you are, you need to be educated, and you need to be connected. Um, I always ask my peers, my employees, pursue an academic degree. Doesn't matter if it's a driver or it's a clerk. I always like people who work for me and work beside me to go to a higher education. Education is very important. It's no other way is the key to success in business. This is from what I see this kind of things. You know, the education is the best.
Thank you. Miguel will be asking the next question.
Yes, and this is so appropriate because I'm getting inspired by each of your stories thus far. So who or what has influenced you to get where you are? And what advice would you have for others who want to set off in a similar direction? We can start with Dr. Agray.
Alphabetical order. Uh, Actually, in terms of who has been like a role model or an inspiration for me to keep moving forward, I can say that Jesus. Jesus, not from the historical side, but for the living thing. The way that we behave, the way that we think, the way that we approach new opportunities. Faith is defined as something that you can see. But you know that it's there. And it was said many years ago, and I have validated through neuroscience. So I got my spiritual leader and neuroscience merging in one single concept. That once you set your mind to be successful, you're gonna be achieving that success. And through again through education, that is gonna be paving the way to achieve our goals, uh, not to be afraid, and be a warrior, looking forward for your success in life. It can be in transportation, it can be in education, it can be in any type of business. Once you set your mindset that there's something that you want to achieve and you're going to be moving forward to it, define your plan, be strategic, and you will achieve it.
Thank you. And I see Ricardo has prepared, so we'll
Yes. I think someone that was influential to get me to where I am has been my father, really pushing me to, go the extra step. I'm a first generation graduate. He had never finished his college degree, so he was always there, encouraging me not to give up and to continue with my career, and always pushing me to take a challenge, whether it be in education or even as I was moving from one job to another. There's always, you're always nervous or scared about moving forward with a new opportunity. And he's always been there for me, reassuring me, like, you can do it. You know, I think he has been a great influence in my life.
thank you. Helen?
Thanks, Miguel. So for me, I'm also a first gen college graduate. So I think probably the first person in my family to graduate like high school, like not a GED, even though GEDs are awesome and a perfect pathway to do your secondary completion. So I'm first gen. So for me, family was always very much a great motivator in terms of, reminding me that how important it was that to honor the struggle that they experienced, to honor their immigrant experience, the struggles that they encountered when they came here, to Miami and to the United States. So that for me has always been a great source of both motivation and pride in terms of being able to not only, successfully get through high school. I was an ESOL student, like from like kindergarten through like fourth grade. So for me, it was very much like, man, like my parents are putting so much into me being successful and me going to school and just pushing me to do better and to be independent and self-sufficient, because that was always such a cause for concern for them. Um, so it was really a matter of finding that within myself, and then also looking for mentors and looking for my parents didn't really know how to help me once I got to like middle school or high school. They didn't know how to help me with school, with looking for like internships. So it was really a matter of connecting with like teachers and professors that were able to help me get to like that next level or conquer like that next part of professional development. So I'm super thankful for not just my family in terms of setting me up for like a successful future, but also to all the folks that I met along the way that were really instrumental in helping me understand the system that my family didn't understand.
Thank you. And Joaquin?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, because I got a letter from here with the internet.
Yes, absolutely. Who or what has influenced you to get where you are, and what advice would you have for others who want to set off in a similar direction?
I follow a lot of people. I have I study in a military school, and I saw all those guys there coming from Korea and Vietnam. And usually those people, when came from the war, are pursuing a career in different kind of industries and business. So all those guys are my role models. Um, One of the reasons that I am in logistics is because I'm this guy who is an officer in the army, and he explained me a lot of times uh, how the army move all that cargo, when they are in critical situations, and 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 I start looking deeper into the business of logistics, and and then I start meeting people from different industries, in pharmaceuticals, in electronics, in food, and I saw a lot of opportunities. What inspired me is help people, help business to grow, have employees, to create systems. It's different inspirations coming to create what I do right now. You know, I just pursue something, and I just go for it.
Thank you all for your responses. So I gather that faith, family, and mentors are just some of your inspirations that got you to where you are. Melissa, the next question.
Yes. What is the biggest challenge in your field or industry at the moment? So think about the challenges that we're facing nowadays with everything that's going on, and how do you see us moving on into the new year?
I know that Miguel is going to be asking me to start again, so let me jump in. I think that our biggest challenge today is communication. Communication, because we lost the window or opportunities to have a face-to-face, human-to-human intervention. We are relying more and more of these type of things, Zoom, WebEx, Facebook, and we lost our capability to express in real language, human beings linked together. And I don't have anything against Troy, that goes to Ricardo in IT. I don't have anything against these tools, but I enjoy uh, having a face-to-face meeting with a client, with a group that you can sense, you can feel the energy coming from the whole group by having them together. And more importantly, being able to read the body language. In this platform, we got only two dimensions, X and Y, and we are dimensional guys. We need an extra dimension that is the depth of field, so we can feel that human relationship again. I think that for me, that I work a lot with group, changing habit, changing mindset, having the opportunity to be with them on a live, not Facebook live, but in a live situation, that is critical.
Ricardo?
Sure.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges for us right now as a local government is thinking outside the box. COVID has actually impacted local governments' budgets, and so it has forced us to be more innovative with less resources. Being able to still provide the same level of customer service to our residents, our business owners, and other people who transact with the city, uh, while still keeping that same level of service, even though now you may be operating with less personnel, or without that human touch that Dr. Agrait referred to. Is we're having to do more with residents via meetings via Zoom, and having residents be able to submit documents online to us, and so on. So it has definitely been quite a challenge in having us rethink how we basically do things. You know, a lot of people think of government like, you know, we just have this massive amount of papers. And so, you know, we've had to change that perspective for people.
Thank you, Ricardo. Helen?
Thanks, Melissa. So, in my industry, both in education and in just in general in social services, I think um, echoing the challenges that that my colleagues just shared, I think there's definitely something that's a little bit lost in translation when we are solely communicating, you know, through like a digital means. Um, I think it's just also a matter of communication styles aren't necessarily like they haven't evolved as quickly, I think, in terms of using these platforms to communicate as we would in person. And I think one of the challenges that my industry faces, for sure, document submission and like, you know, being a college, that's been a challenge for us. I think it's also that we're trying to fit like processes that would have been handled or done face to face. We're just trying to replicate it in an online or remote environment. Whereas what we really might need is like an overhaul of how we do business and how we engage in processes that is not just kind of like flipping the switch to virtual. It's really about being more intentional about how we do that, it's not just moving online, because there are other things to take into consideration and other factors to really take note of to make that a successful transition. It's not just about the transition. It's about kind of looking at structurally, like what needs to change. You know, for us in education, a lot of our processes are paper-based. You know, students that want to change the term that they're registering for would fill out a piece of paper and submit a copy of their ID to like prove their identity. Whereas now, you know, do we really want to ask students to fill out an Adobe form and scan a copy of their license or their ID? Is that really the best way for us to transition online? Or do we need to, you know, use a different kind of form where students can authenticate their identity online? So I think it's just about looking at, you know, how we engage in processes and really evaluating whether it's just a seamless transition online or if we need to change something about that. And I think that's always a challenge because anyone that works in any kind of organization, you know, you have a million processes that your day-to-day involves, and some of that is just so automated and it's been happening for so long that I think it takes kind of like stepping back for a minute to really take a look at where the updates are needed. Um, and I think in general, just when Dr. Agate was talking about the X and Y dimensions and missing that third dimension, it's difficult in arenas that are meant to serve people, because that sort of like that cold turkey transition to just being behind a screen um, was very cold turkey. It was very much from one day to the next for us, and I think things get lost and communication is more difficult. Like you have to, you know, schedule time to check in, at least for myself with my team. You know, it's not just that I'm walking in the door in the morning and saying hello to everyone in their offices, which is like a natural part of my walk to my desk. You know, in a remote environment or in a virtual space, I have to make sure that I'm like typing, "Hi everyone, how's everyone's morning going?" Da 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 da. You know, it's just it's a switch almost. It's like you have to code switch more often than maybe feels natural in like a regular face-to-face space.
Dr. Agraid had a question or
Oh, yeah,
additional input.
probably for Melissa. And previously, to going almost 100% into virtual learning, we were able to go to a physical classroom, that everybody there. The professor have the same index card that he has been using for the last 20 years to provide the class. But how the demographic are impacting education in terms of now we have to know more about the demographic of our students in order to define how we are going to be getting to them. For young guys, this is excellent. Be able to link remotely and have the classes. For me, it's quite difficult in having to get used to the different icons and the different things that they are being used today. How do you think that have that demographic has impact the way that we conduct education?
Helen, I believe that was a question for you.
So I think we've had to take a hard look at at what kind of support our students and our staff and faculty need to operate in a virtual or a remote environment. And I think we've had to, whereas things before were just business as usual, it has been super important for us to really take a hard look and an intentional look at how we deliver information, how we engage with people, and to not make assumptions for any of the folks that are part of our community, whether it's students, faculty, staff, to really ask, like, what is it that you need help with? Like, how can we facilitate, you continuing to do the work or engage in the work that you're engaging in spite of this like global pandemic that has really kind of halted a lot of what would have been business as usual for us. So it's really taking the time to ask questions and to make sure people know that the support is there and we're getting through this together. And that it's going to take a lot of pivoting and a lot of brainstorming and critical thinking, which is super important. Even in a pandemic, it's just as important as it is to IT and social work or whatever. Critical thinking in a pandemic, also an important skill.
Thank you, Helen. Miguel?
Yes, did we leave out Joaquin or
I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm like looking at the time. Joaquin?
can chime in?
So it's my
And I
turn.
think-
Yeah, his mic. There he goes. He turned on his mic. Hi, Joaquin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you out.
Joaquin, should we repeat the question or?
No, it's okay. Well, you can imagine working in logistics with this pandemic is horrible. All stores are closed, business are closed. Everyone wants to order everything by internet, including the food. So you imagine, we are like 500% more business coming since the last 6 months. It's a challenge. We receive a lot of complaints. People scream because everything is late. We are not prepared for that, and this is a challenge. So we are working very hard with our suppliers, with our customers, including with the government, to create a good service for our people. All business have challenge, everyone. In logistics, it's very particular because each state have their own regulations, and especially in Puerto Rico and Florida, we have a lot of regulations, and we need to deal with that every day. In my particular case, I need to restructure my company almost every 3 months because a new regulation is coming or a new regulation is going off. So regulation is part of our life, a business life, including personal life too. And we need to deal with that. So the good thing is that if you educate and read a lot about your business and the things, you can resolve all the matters in few hours. You know, it's something that you need just to be updated with the information. Um, this is, from my point, the challenge that we have every day. You know, work with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joaquin, and thank you all for just sharing, you know, the uncertainties and just some of our challenges in the current climate. Melissa and I had many more questions, and we actually want to fast forward to this final thought from each of you, and we'll open it up to our participants should they have any questions. So as our panelists share with us their final thoughts, if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat, and if time permits, we can allow you to turn on your mic. But is there anything that we're leaving out here that you think, this is to each of you, needs to be addressed? We don't have to start with Dr. Bagright, but we can. Chuckle. So Helen.
Okay, so I can start. So I think, and I think I might have mentioned this earlier, someone early on in my career emphasized to me that again, it's not who you know, it's who knows you and who knows like the quality of your work. To this day, I've never landed a job where I didn't, or an opportunity even, where it wasn't because of someone knowing my work and knowing what I do and knowing like, you know, what areas within my industry I'm passionate about. I've never come across an opportunity where it wasn't because someone was like, hey, I heard about this great opportunity. I think you'd be a good fit. I want to encourage you to apply. I want to encourage you to submit a proposal. And I think it's so important that, you know, we market ourselves and that we make known our strengths, so that people can help market us as well. Like your network helps market you. It's not always easy. Like I'm super introverted, even though half the people in my life will be like, no, you're not introverted. That's a lie. But I really do think of myself as an introvert. So I have to make a concerted effort to really like put myself out there and to kind of, you know, see invitations and opportunities just like as opportunities and challenges that are there for me to tackle and to overcome and to get through to develop professionally. So I think it's just important to put yourself out there and be brave and courageous, even though it's much easier said than done. And there really is no reward without risk. And I think the more you have in your back pocket in terms of skills and knowledge and scope of understanding, the more confident you are to say yes to opportunities. So take advantage when you can of opportunities to learn and to develop and to network professionally. Because it really is, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you and who knows, you know, the good work you do, and the skills you bring to the table. And if there isn't a table, get together with some of your peers and build a table. That's, I think, the global community that we're heading toward is that, you know, if it doesn't exist and you think it should, then you need to be part of the production of it, right? And I think that can be said both for professional settings, industries, social issues, and all of that. So it's just super important to put yourself out there. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Helen. So to the others, briefly respond as we near the end.
For me, I can. Sorry, Ricardo. Want to
No,
go
go
ahead?
ahead.
Okay. For me, it's a matter of how. We know that we have to keep learning. We know that we have to keep looking for opportunities. We know that we are gonna be facing challenges through 24/7. And for me, in order to cope with that, I think that first we have to delete that negative dialogue in our mind that in a certain way say that no, you are not capable of, no, you can make it, you don't have enough. So I think that we have to look at the mirror and realize the fact that we are talented, we are disciplined, we are qualified, and we are equipped to success. If we can do that, and I know that we can delete that negative uh, conversation that is almost every day in our head and switch it to the positive side, we are going to success in any type of activity, any type of business, any type of new adventure. That's the key for the journey.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I have to agree with both the prior panelists, and then I think Helen actually put it very nicely. It's not about who you know; it's about who knows you. Don't be afraid to take on new challenges and risks. And also, one of the things, in my opinion, is also once you get to a position where you can actually make an impact or uh, um, be of help to someone else, you should pay it forward. I was lucky to have opportunities given to me by people throughout my career to move up and have that mentorship kind of relationship or that leadership. So now that I'm in a position of leadership, I always try to pay it forward and give people opportunities, whether it be for career opportunities or learning opportunities, so that they can achieve the same things that I've been able to achieve.
Thank you, Ricardo. Joaquin? Joaquin?
You there, Joaquin?
Are we on mute, Joaquin?
Joaquin, I think you're on mute.
Well, we have to realize that he's 1,000 miles away.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello?
We hear
We
you. Yeah.
hear you, yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is that stay positive, set goals, focus on those goals, and the good team must be fought. The reward is coming. It's no other way. You need to create those goals and go for it. This is what I say. Always education is important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to open up if anybody has questions.
So if you have a question, feel free to unmute your microphone at this point. Unmute yourself and you can address your question either to any of the panelists or all. We have time for one or two questions as we wrap up.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your encouraging words.
Thank you, Max, and to the panelists from Max. So it looks like we have no questions. Okay, well, Melissa, I think we can formally conclude the program, and perhaps we can hang around for a few minutes in case anyone does have a question. Then our panelists can still informally answer within the next 10 minutes or so.
Yes. I want to thank everybody who participated and our panelists. Again, Adele, you had a question? I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought she had opened up her mic. All right. So I wanted to thank the panelists for their time and sharing with us their experiences and challenges that they're facing, how education impacted them in their different fields and careers. And it's very important for our students to always keep in mind to have a goal to pursue. And remember, the most important thing to keep in mind, we are always learning, no matter what. You're gonna go do a new transaction, you have to learn how to do that process. If you're gonna um, go into a department, let's say you get to change jobs and you get an opportunity, you're gonna have to learn the processes. So we're always constantly learning, and it's good just to constantly be seeking information and finding solutions, like Helen said, and our panelists, to have critical thinking, to go out there and just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If we fall down, you know what? The best thing is getting up and moving forward. Okay, so in case anyone is looking for connections, Ricardo has brought up, we do have their LinkedIn. You guys can search our panelists in LinkedIn, and you can connect with them after this meeting if you like. Again, welcome everybody. Thank you everybody for participating, and looking forward to our next event. Yes, this is being recorded, and we will have it available for you to access through the Hispanic Heritage Org site.
Pleasure meeting you all. Huh?